Ethan sat at his desk, staring at a letter in his trembling hands. Sometimes, life gives you one chance to step out of the ordinary and into the unknown. For Ethan, that chance came in the form of a single envelope. Inside, an invitation to pitch his dream project at the biggest conference of the year. But there was one catch. The conference was tomorrow, and Ethan, he was terrified of public speaking. What if I freeze? What if they laugh at me? What if I fail? The questions spiraled in his mind as he paced the room. For years, Ethan avoided every chance to stand in front of a crowd. He told himself it wasn't the right time, that he wasn't ready. Excuses were easy. But this time there was no running. The opportunity of a lifetime was staring him in the face. Ethan had to decide. Stay comfortable and let it slip away, or take the risk and face his biggest fear. The night dragged on, but sleep wouldn't come. The weight of the unknown loomed over Ethan like a storm cloud. Every second that passed felt like a countdown to disaster. And yet, somewhere in the chaos of fear, a whisper of courage emerged. He didn't feel ready. He didn't feel confident. But he made the decision to show up anyway. By stepping onto that stage, Ethan wasn't just risking failure. He was risking everything for the chance to finally be heard. Before walking onto the stage, Ethan reached into his back pocket and pulled out a small, crumpled piece of paper. His hands trembled as he scribbled down the words. Going on stage and giving this speech. For a moment he stared at the words, feeling the weight of them, as if they could swallow him whole. He'd read about this trick years ago, writing down your biggest fear and tucking it away. Supposedly, it was meant to help release the grip of fear, to make it feel smaller, less overwhelming. With a deep breath, Ethan folded the paper carefully and slid it back into his pocket. The tension didn't vanish, but something shifted. It was still there, but now it felt contained, as if he could face it. As the spotlight called him forward, his pulse pounded in his ears, but the faint crinkle of that paper in his pocket reminded him. Fear didn't own him. Not today. Bright lights hit Ethan's face as he walked onto the stage. The audience was silent, waiting. His hands gripped the edges of the podium as his voice shook with the first words. And in that moment, as his voice echoed through the room, Ethan realized. Fear wasn't the enemy. It was the bridge to everything worth having. The lesson from Ethan's story is that fear doesn't have to stop you. Facing it head on and taking action, even when you're scared, is how you grow. Courage isn't about being fearless. It's about moving forward despite the fear.